Who said it?
Board of County Commissioners now in session. We'll begin with a pledge, prayer followed by the pledge. Commissioner Jones.
Heavenly Father, we thank you today for the opportunity to be here. God, we thank you, Lord, for everything that you are doing in Franklin County, allowing all of us to have a part in it. God, we ask today for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding in every decision we make and every thought process we go through. Help us, and we look to you for strength today. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next on the agenda will be the approval of the minutes
So moved.
from March 21st. We have a motion by Commissioner Massey, second by Commissioner Lockley. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. Next will be payment of county bills.
So move.
Second.
We got a motion on the floor by Commissioner Lockley, second by Commissioner Massey. Any discussion? All those in favor? All opposed? The motion carries. Next will be the Department Director's Report. Howard Neighbor, Superintendent of Public Works.
Good morning, Commissioners. How y'all doing? I got a couple items that Michael's got, and then another item on the inmate class that we usually have, which would be, they changed it up, it'd be next Wednesday, and the whole crew will go. We used to half it up, one would go one day and the other day, so this year they want everybody to go at one time, so
We ain't got no choice.
no choice. That's what they said, so.
Yeah, we gotta go to it
Yeah.
too.
What you got on that, Roger?
Commissioner, there are a couple items from my report. Good morning, in relating to Howard. Item number one, inform the board that Forestry has advised the county that they have started logging in Tate's Hell. The logging trucks will travel on Mill Road, then north in Tate's Hell to Burnt Bridge Road, then onto Gully Branch Road, and then exit onto Highway 67. I forwarded Mr. David Morse's contact information to Mr. Howard Neighbors. If there are any problems with Mill Road, Mr. Neighbors will contact Mr. Morse about repairs to the road. And no problem, Mr. Morse agrees. He said once he gets a call from Howard, they'll work on the road and do whatever needs to be done.
Can I ask a question? Sure. Mr. Shooter, we're working on an ordinance on the weight limit for Mill Road. Where do we stand? Are you ready?
I have the draft. I'm still working on the legal description for Duval Road, but I do have the draft of the ordinance ready, and I will be getting with Commissioner Sanders, because Duval Road is in her district, to make sure that I have the correct location and length of the Duval Road, so I can draft an appropriate legal description. I would expect, absent an emergency, that this ordinance would be brought to you for your consideration at your first meeting in May. If we have an emergency, then we can hold an emergency meeting and adopt an emergency ordinance. And my recommendation, I guess, is let's see if a problem occurs. If they do what they say they're going to do to keep the road up, and if they don't, then you have a recourse available.
They've been keeping it running good the last time.
Yeah, Howard said that Forestry does a pretty good job, is when you have another private property owner hiring truckers is when we have the problem.
That's when we had the problem when the guys come in after Howard, when the state done it, then the private started hauling and they tore it up and wouldn't fix it.
Yeah, on the Duval Road, the last bad one we had, that we had to redo, it was a mess.
That's why we're looking at a weight limit, just like we had for McIntyre.
Mhm.
So, and I mean, those are miles and miles of road, and it kind of wears on your budget when you have to go in there and constantly repair them.
And then when they do it, it takes probably a good week of study working on it to fix the road back, so we can travel it.
And item number two, Commissioners, Commissioner Jones received requests to clear certain ditches in East Point to reduce flooding during rain events. One of those ditches that would alleviate flooding is a ditch on Flower Street in East Point. Flower Street and the ditch is owned by East Point Water and Sewer District. Board action authorizing staff to write a letter to East Point Water and Sewer District requesting permission to clean that ditch. We rode together, and if we can clear that ditch, that'll help us a lot over in East Point.
On Avenue A and First Street, which all that water travels through there, and it runs through and goes to Flower Street, which is a big ditch that goes to 98, and a bunch of that section there is stopped up. which we used to maintain that about years ago, but we got told not to go in there no more, so.
Well, I mean, it sounds like to me you need to, write them a letter and either have them clean it or issue us permit, or permission to clean it. I mean, give them an option there.
Okay.
If it's their ditch, then we let them clean it. If they don't wanna clean it, then they need to give us permission to clean it. I mean, that's the way I see it.
Yeah,
If
there's
they
no
told us
problem
not to
with
go
that.
back in there, then they need to keep the ditch clean to alleviate the flooding.
Mm-hmm.
So, what we need to do is get county staff to issue a, order, tell county staff to write a letter to them, stating those facts. We can get a motion by the board.
I make a motion for Michael Wright, East Point Water and Sewer, a letter to either clean the ditch or let us clean it.
Second.
We have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Massey, second by Commissioner Jones. Any further discussion? Is that all right with you, Howard?
Yes, sir, that's fine.
Any further discussion on that issue? All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries. Does any commissioners have anything for Mr. Howard?
I do. Howard, have you removed the barges down in East Point yet?
We hadn't got them yet, but we get them for the week's out. We pick
Okay,
them
well, I
up.
was down there this morning and, that one's kinda in the way right there for them to work.
Right.
Okay.
And one, I know one's right here at the Barter's old place, and the other one's right here by Fred Billinger's.
Yeah, right there.
Okay,
Yeah,
well, we get them.
okay. Appreciate it.
I have something, Mr. Chairman. Michael, you can get back up there. I got a question to ask you while Howard's here. It's something to do with the bridge. A few months ago, well, back over about a year ago, we had an instance of somebody running into the guardrail off of Bluff Road in Commissioner Parrish's district, and somebody tearing up the guardrail at Walnut Creek on 67, the northwest side of it. And we were turning it over to our insurance company. The Walnut Creek guardrail has not been put back up, and it,
Really?
no, sir, it hasn't. And you said that you were gonna contact the insurance company and see if that we were gonna get, reimbursed for it or whatever. But it needs to be done because it's a hazard with those big trucks hauling all that timber and the rock and all that. And we need to get that end of that northwest end of that guardrail fixed.
I will.
We're supposed to get back clean with it, I think you said that.
Yeah.
time. We had to when they get through fixed.
You should be here later today.
Okay,
I'll
yeah,
deal with it.
okay.
I'm sorry, is that it, Commissioner?
That's it.
No, we must have with him. Yeah, Michael, out there on where the doctor's office at, Dr. 12th Street,
Uh-huh.
we need to get a permit from the state to go in off 12th Street. Because we having, the city in a closed day in, and the school, it's in a, we coming up with them kids that, but we need to get permission to come in off 12th Street, and that'll alleviate all that. And we
That-
won't have
that-
no problem, but we need
actually-
a permit.
Was an item on my report.
But I'm gonna put it in form of motion, but I wanna do it just in case Howard might be need to do
Okay.
some work there.
Basically, what
Well,
Commissioner.
go ahead and do your
Okay.
item, Michael. We can.
Item number 8 on my report, I informed the board at the March 21st meeting that due to the city of Apalachicola closing the 12th Street entrance to the Chapman Building, I negotiated with the ABC school another entrance in 14th Street. Commissioner Lockley suggested that I start the process of seeking an FDOT permit and determining the associated costs to create a direct entrance and exit from Chapman Building parking area onto US 98, also known as Avenue E. I'll have board discussion. I mean, basically, we're landlocked. You have, the ABC Charter School owns the property on one side, the city of Apalachicola owns the other side. We basically have no, without entrance across one of their properties, we have no entrance to Chapman Building right now, which houses, of course, Dr. Sanal's office, and then we have a contract with the Panhandle players that use it. So Commissioner Lockley asked me, could we start the process of working with FDOT about curb cut? We kind of right across where 13th Street ends, right into the Chapman grass area that we own for entrance and exit to the building.
We probably can get a curb cut, because 13th Street, at one point, a long, long time ago, 13th Street went through there. So it's not like we're asking for something that it wasn't laid out that way. So I would expect we should be able to get one. We just have to-
The problem is it was just a walk-through, it was never a drive-through. So,
Right, but
yeah,
13th Street
it
was laid out.
Yeah, that way.
It was,
Well, we need to do that because, we don't own either end. And if they come up with shutting us off, we're gonna be in trouble.
Yeah, and the reason I brought it to the board is because just the DOT permit alone can cost up to $6,000, just the permit. So, and that's something in talking to Purple Ridge, that, you know, they kind of give me a rough estimate, but they would prefer that, board action would be better, because FDOT respond to the board saying, look, we need access to our property, we're kind of landlocked, rather than an engineer approaching FDOT to say, they'll look at it as another project. So, with board action to start this process, it would expedite the permit from FDOT.
So I'm gonna put that in form of motion, and when you write it, by us being a small county, we can ask for a waiver on that. I don't know, they might get it, they might not.
I'll try my best, sir.
My only comments on that, we do have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Commissioner Massey. Discussion. The curb cut needs to be more than just 8 feet wide, Michael.
Well,
I
definitely.
mean, you can't come off 98 and just make a 90-degree turn there. Plus, you may have somebody trying to come out at the same time somebody's trying to go in.
Yeah.
So make sure you get with our engineer and make sure the curb cut is wide enough where if somebody's coming out, you still got room to make that 90-degree turn into the Chapman Building.
Yes, sir.
It doesn't need to be a narrow curb cut, it needs to be a wider.
Wide enough. And also realize they might not allow left turn coming out of Chapman. They might say everything has to go right, but that's FDOT. We have, it's a US road.
But you still got, if you're coming in from this way and you got somebody trying to get in and somebody trying to get out, the curb cut needs to be wide enough.
For two
Plus, if they want to bring that bus in there that Sonoma brings in there, you need a wide enough curb cut to accommodate that.
Yeah.
So let's don't go for a small curb cut, let's go for one big enough to allow us to do what we need to do.
I will.
Any further discussion on that issue?
Not on that issue, but I got one with Mike before he leaves.
Associated with that, though, by doing this, then we expect the fence in front of Chapman to go down, which what the Panhandle players want also. So eventually, if this all goes through, you'll have an opening there, the fence will be removed in front of Chapman, you'll have a fence on the library end, and a fence on the playground end, but the front of the building will be open and look more presentable to the public, as opposed to having that 6-foot high chain link fence. That's another function of getting that thing opened up.
Like, are we talking about removing the fence all the way along Highway 98? Or just in front, just into the Chapman Building? Because those kids play out there on one end of
Right,
that.
no, I mean, just in the middle.
In the middle there,
Front of the
okay.
auditorium.
Okay, I just want to make sure we don't open the fence all the way up because we got kids out there playing at certain times of the
Panhandle
day.
players want the fence down so that people have a sense that it's.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman,
yes.
Michael,
Sir?
Vote.
okay, go ahead, we got a vote.
We do have a motion and a second on the floor. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carried.
Last week, we got a call to put a crosswalk somewhere between Fisherman's Choice and the post office in Eastbourne. We contacted Transfield, and we had to make the board, they'd like to have a motion with the board to put one through. But it's in Ricky's district, so I let Ricky decide, where he wants to put the crosswalk or what. You got it?
Well, I was gonna test, I'll be through my report in a few
Is
minutes.
that another item, Michael? Go
Yes,
ahead.
sir, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Item number 7, recently there was a tragic accident in East Point, in the general area of the East Point Post Office. This has been one of a few recent accidents in that area. I discussed with FDOT's local contractor, Broad Spectrum, about posting additional speed limit signs, reducing the speed limit, and a blinking light to indicate high traffic area. And I also did the crosswalk, Commissioner, as actions to try and reduce further accidents in that area. They explained that these types of requests may require traffic studies and would require board action, which would then be sent to FDOT's Midway office. Broad Spectrum can't do that anymore. They don't have that authority to issue those kind of permits and take those kinds of actions. It all has to go to the Midway office.
Well,
So,
that's what you request. You request a traffic study, because that's what they gotta have on everything. But there definitely needs to be something. That's about the
Third
second or
one.
third one in about a year's time.
Year's time.
was Christmas the last one, Commissioner?
Yes, right before Christmas. Yeah, and, yeah, there definitely needs to be something done with it, but from talking and knowing what's going on, it's just gonna be a request. We can't make the state do anything with the road, but it does need to have something done. But that being said, as bad as the accident was the other day, a crosswalk wouldn't have prevented that accident. That car actually went across the road completely, jumped a ditch and hit a guy on the sidewalk. So, it's not a crosswalk issue, but there is something that needs to be done. That's just, for the little bit of traffic we have in East Point, that is very congested where the post office is at. It's also very dark during nighttime. There's no lighting there at all. So, there are several things that need to be addressed, and whatever they will do, I'm with asking them to do whatever
So
to get it fixed.
I'm hearing I'm gonna ask for a traffic study and throw all these things in with it and say, we're in favor of all these things, whichever they deem is best for the area.
Sounds good.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask Commissioner Jones? Commissioner Jones, is there any talks of any future plans of maybe possibly moving the post office there?
I have actually talked to some of them already, because right before everything went bust in '08, they actually had talked about moving it further toward the center of East Point, or not the center, but closer to Appalachia. But there was some discrepancy as to what the property owner wanted and what the state wanted to pay. But yeah, that one post office services the island and East Point.
Yeah.
And there's been times, even though we're catty corner to them where I work at, where I've had to go to the post office, there's nowhere to park. I just went back to the store, I waited a little while, and I went, because there was nowhere to park. It's just, there's a lot of traffic there.
There is a lot of traffic
And,
with the stores being.
it's a one-way deal, but still, there's a lot of traffic. But I think too, Michael, from our discussion and what you said, some of our issue also in East Point is the speed limit signs, there's probably not enough of them. They're on either end, there are none in the middle. And I'll be honest with you, I'm at that store all day, every day, when I'm not here, and it's nothing to see people going 50, 55 in front, so. Again, enforcement might be part of
Enforcement
it.
issue.
Might be
So,
part of it, yes, sir.
Letter to the sheriff also.
Yep, yep.
Okay.
So I guess if there's no, I guess I'll put that in the form of a motion that we ask him to do all that and maybe write letters to the sheriff, talk to him about enforcement and try to get some headway made on this.
We have a motion on the floor by Commissioner Jones, second by Commissioner Lockley. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries.
Is it safe for me to sit down?
Any other discussion for Superintendent of the Road, Howard Neighbor, from the Commissioner? Thank you, Howard. Next would be Mr. Fonda Davis, Solid Waste.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Morning.
I don't have anything for y'all this morning.
Does Commissioners have anything for Mr. Davis?
I do when Michael gets through.
Okay, Mike.
Item number 3 of my report. Inform the board that the use of the county's parking lot in East Point is being used more often for fundraisers, especially on Saturdays. Staff has no issues with this type of activity, but we ask that anyone planning on using the parking lot for a fundraiser contact the Parks and Rec Department. Once notified, Parks and Rec would designate an area for anyone planning to use the boat ramp and then park their vehicle and boat trailer in the parking lot on the day of the fundraiser. We're trying to get ahead of any conflicts here because, again, it's being used more and more for fundraisers. And it's been a couple of times that people are trying to find spots where they're having a food sale or something like that. So that's more of a message for the public than it is the board.
I was gonna ask you to address that item while Fonda was here.
Okay.
Being as it concerned Parks and Rec.
So that's good?
It's good.
Right.
Mr. Massey, Commissioner, you said.
Find on the football field out at Kendrick Park. We're not using it for nothing.
Not at the time, we just had it, we've been trying to get it ready for soccer.
That's what I say, could we use that for a soccer field?
That's what we're using it for.
Okay.
It's football, soccer. He's getting the grass.
Are you switching it over now for the soccer?
Soccer/football.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. That's why he scraped all that off the top. The sand spurs were so bad. Now they're gonna go in there and lay grass and get the watering system to going and everything. Get it compliant like it's supposed to be.
Any other comments from Mr. Davis, from the Commissioners?
How did day of ball go? Did everybody survive?
Everybody's surprised, went well.
Good.
It did, yes.
I'm glad to hear
Weather
that.
was nice, and no complaints.
Yeah, it was a good day.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir, for all y'all do.
Mhm.
Anything further for Mr. Davis from the Commissioners? Thank you, Mr. Davis.
Okay.
Next will be Ms. Pam Brunell, Emergency Management Director.
Good morning, Commissioners. I do not have any action items at this time. Just an informational item, I will have back surgery this Friday, so I will be out of the office for 2 weeks, but my staff will be there, but I will be at home, so if needed, contact me there.
Any commissioners have anything for Ms. Pam?
Let me just one thing, Pam and I were talking, we're slowly beginning to get funds in from Hurricane Hermine. The big PWs on Alligator Point are still being reviewed by FEMA, so those are not part of the discussion this morning, but we've got one in, it's been approved for a boat ramp on St. George Island, and I just want to tell the board that this, I spoke to Pam, and I spoke to the engineers. The boat ramp on St. George Island has been repaired by the county staff. It's open 2 lanes. What's missing is the asphalt on the top. Rather than have a special bidding process for that one small project, since the road is working, I haven't heard any complaints about it, is my recommendation for that we hold off paving that until we get the projects in Alligator Point resolved and have one paving project for FEMA-related projects and get a better price, and FEMA's gonna be happy with that if we go out and do this one little project. So unless we have complaints from the community, the road is working, and Howard's done a great job of keeping it open, so I'm gonna tell you, my recommendation was let's leave it Lime Rock, that little section, until we get the Alligator Point thing straightened out, and then bid everything out.
I thought that's what we were gonna do.
Okay, well,
Alan, real quick, could you address number 1 on your restore coordinator report as it pertains to Alligator Point and bike path while Pam's here?
Mr. Chairman, before he does that, if I can make a comment where he was at.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not that there are no complaints.
Okay.
I've just been telling everybody that it's being worked on. It's a FEMA thing, they have to wait.
Yes.
So it's not that there's not any
Okay.
complaints, just to make sure you're aware.
I was not aware of that.
Yeah, I know, I don't call you for every complaint I get, sir.
well, but if the potholes.
But I'm good with it, you know what I'm saying? I just want to make sure you're aware of
Okay,
that.
I was not aware, all right, I appreciate it. All right, item number 1, inform the board that upon further review by FEMA, they intend to deduct some $220,000 of funds out of the PW to repair the bike path in front of the old KOA. FEMA review in Washington determined that the county had not erected any impediments to vehicles using the road, and therefore did not meet their interpretation of a dedicated bike path. County staff and FEMA consultants are still discussing this PW, but that is the current situation. And I had never said it was a dedicated bike path. I had said that the asphalt surface could be used for bikes. FEMA has returned to their position that since they provided funds to relocate the road, they are not supporting additional funds to repair and clean up the debris in front of the old KOA. I say county staff is still seeking funds for debris removal. That's still under negotiation. I don't have any idea what the outcome is. The county has the ability, once the PW is obligated in the way they want it, we have the ability to appeal that, and we can certainly talk about that at that time. My position is if we appeal it, it's gonna tie up other funds, and I'm not sure it's a battle that we would win, because FEMA's standard was different than our standard. I just said the road could be used for bikes, and, let's see if we can work together. And FEMA, upon review of what they've done in the past, said, well, you didn't do anything to keep the cars out of there, therefore, we're not gonna put something back. And it's just a battle that, I'm not sure it's worth fighting.
Well, we knew that from the very beginning, that was a chance we were taking.
Yes,
And we've been doing that, because years ago, FEMA said that's the last time we're gonna put money back on that section of the, the road in front of the old KOA. So,
Thank you, Alan. Does any other commissioners have anything for Ms. Pam?
Yeah, Pam, are we hurricane ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
As long as our citizens have got their plans together, we're ready.
Hope your surgery goes well for you.
I hope so too.
Anything else from the commissioner for Ms. Pam? Thank you, Pam. Next will be Mr. Eric Lovestrand, Extension Office Director.
Morning, Commissioners. I don't have any extra action items for your agenda this morning, but I was going to highlight one item in my written report. Our 4-H group from Franklin County actually hosted the District 3 Council meeting here in our area on Saturday. That's a 5-county district for our 4-H group. And we had 40 4-H'ers come from surrounding counties and our county, and we actually have 3 of our youth from Franklin County that were elected to officer positions in that council. So our kids are getting involved in leadership positions within our 4-H district, and that's nice to see. So that's all I have for you this morning.
Any of the commissioners have anything for Mr. Eric? Being no comments, thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
Commissioner, I want to let you know, Ms. Machado was unable to make it this morning. She emailed me very early, said she had some trouble getting down here from Tallahassee. So I'll put her off till the next meeting because she wants to really discuss her proclamation with you, because she worked with the health department on this proclamation, so.
Okay. So she's not here. We do have a school superintendent here in attendance today. We'd like to recognize her for coming in. If you'd like to come forward, say a few words to the commission.
Thank you for recognizing me. My schedule is very busy, so I may not get to stay for the entire meeting, but I just wanted to come and say thank you all for your dedication and support to the citizens of Franklin County, especially our students. They are the future workforce for the county. We are aggressively seeking CTE programs, which means career and technical education. Some of those programs are building trades and technologies, the medical industry, hospitality, and educator prep. We have a difficult time recruiting and retaining teachers because of the cost of living in Franklin County. So we're going to try to partner with some of the municipalities and see if there are some things that we can do to get some affordable housing here in Franklin County for our teachers. And not only the teachers, my husband works at the prison. They have the same problem keeping employees there as well. So we're working on that. We need volunteers. April is volunteer month. That is set aside by the state of Florida. If you don't have anything or you have some downtime, we would encourage everybody to volunteer in our school and support our students. We are desperate for substitutes as well. We have a difficult time when our teachers are sick or out of finding substitutes. My HR director sent me a text during the meeting and said, please speak about needing substitutes and volunteers. So today I'm just going to ask you for your support, continue to support our students. They are the future of Franklin County, and they are going to be the future leaders. So we just appreciate all that you do, and please come out and support Franklin County School District as much as you can. Thank you.
I have one question real quick before you leave. I noticed on the front page of the Apalachicola Times, y'all were having issues with bus drivers. Could you talk about that real briefly?
We are. We also have offered to reimburse people that pass the CDL class and the test once the completion, because before the district was paying for it ahead of time. Well, if the people don't pass, we're out of our money. But I also am going to go a step further, and when people agree to that, we're going to sign a contract, because I cannot pay for people to get certified and then not come drive buses for us and go to other places. So we are working on recruiting bus drivers as well, and I know that's a problem statewide. I talked to other superintendents. It's a problem we go through, but Franklin County is so sparsely populated that our parents rely on that transportation. So we are aggressively recruiting bus drivers as well, and we know that $200 fee sometimes may deter somebody from signing up to do that. So the school district is offering to reimburse once the test is complete and the person has their license. But we're also going to have the caveat of you have to sign up to work for us as well. So if you know anybody, we would love to have some bus drivers. We need to get our students to school safely. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming in today.